Hi, everybody. Welcome to Coliving Cashflow with Clara, and or the first episode, you can call it, of Coliving Compass. And today we are going to talk about something people don't want to talk about much, which is the risk of co-living and the risk in co-living in blue states, and why, for example, Passply has not gone to states like Massachusetts and California. And we are here to prove them wrong, if you will. And I had the best guest in Southern California that I could find, like hands down. So, Scott, welcome. You'd like to introduce yourself, please?
Sure. Well, thanks for having me, Clara, and I love the opportunity to be your first guest.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I've been in real estate for over 25 years. I've done commercial real estate. I've done over 200 flips. I'm a real estate broker here in California and general contractor. I've remodeled probably over 2,500 houses, a lot for it, lending institutions, and fell in love with the idea of co-living because right now it's one of the few things that makes sense here in Southern California. I,
How?
my, um, because of the cash flow. Because if
Oh,
you
okay.
buy, yeah,
Like this?
yeah, exactly, co-living cash flow, perfect example. Because if you buy a single family house here as a rental, and let's say I'm in Orange County, so the average price here, a million, 1.2, 1.4, and that's not for a nice house. I know the rest of the country, that could be a really nice house. Here, that's kind of a lower end house. But if you buy that as a rental, you're probably going to rent it for maybe 4,000, 5,000 a month if you can get that. That means somebody has to be making probably two and a half or three times that to afford that rental. And so you have, maybe a husband, wife, and some kids, and both of them are working. Or you could do a co-living model, throw in a couple extra walls. Let's say you buy a 4-bedroom house, you turn it into a 6 or a 7. Well, you're going to rent out probably 2 to 2.5 times more with co-living than you would as a regular rental. So that's why I'm really excited about it. So
And well, yes, I'm with you because here in Massachusetts it's the same thing. But when you say that it's hard to rent a property for like a single family for 4,000 and 5,000, or it's like regular thing. It's a regular market.
that's the going rent right now, but not everybody can afford it. And
Yeah.
so people are going to other counties that are farther away, so they can afford rent. And it just doesn't make a lot of sense. But where co-living really makes sense is if you hang on to this for 5 or 10 years, and especially 10-year plan. I mean, I've calculated the internal rate of return about 20 to 25%, which if you bought a duplex or triplex or fourplex here, you're buying at maybe a 3.5 or 4 cap, which makes no sense at all.
Oh no.
But in a co-living home here, even in Orange County, where it's ridiculous, you're looking at cap rates between 6 and 7%, depending on how you run it. That's amazing today. And most even the larger apartment buildings are trading at 4 and 5 caps. And again, with interest rates at 6, 7, 8%, you can't put new debt on that. Or here you can put new debt on the property and it still makes sense. So that's why I'm excited.
So I agree with you because in Massachusetts it's about the same situation with what we call here triple deckers or multifamily buildings. With if they're really good, they have a 5% cap, which is ridiculous, which has slowed down the market significantly in the past year and this year as well. I imagine that for you is about the same, right? Like the business volume has slowed down absolutely.
Yep.
Have you seen, and I'm curious about this, have you seen that by using co-living, more investors are able to get a better cap and they're like entering the co-living space?
Yeah. I mean, that's why I'm again so excited because it just makes more sense to do it this way. And I'm going to give you a worst case scenario. Let's say you own this for 10 years
Mhm.
and you're done. Now, what's your exit strategy? One could be sell it to somebody else who wants, co-living and the cash flow.
Mhm.
Or the other thing is, let's just say you bought in a great neighborhood, it turned around, and now your B and C class is in, almost a B plus neighborhood. Go in there, undo everything, make it a beautiful single family, and sell it at full market value. So you can exit two different ways. Either keep it as it is or put it back as a single family house. But also you're not taking away, like with VRBOs, you're taking away housing stock, right? I mean, it's you're giving it to vacation people, and I know I don't want to live next door to one, because it's just people are on vacation, right? They're partying, they're drinking. I totally get it. I use those, but I don't want to live next door to one. Now you could flip it around and think, well, hey, well, would I want to live next door to one of these? Well, the answer is yes, because if you're renting to the workforce housing, that's somebody who's maybe at In-N-Out Burger, and now here in California, they're making $20 plus an hour. And all they want to do is have a job, go home, and have a nice place to sleep. That's the perfect tenant.
Is $20 an hour good in California, or like not nearly good to afford like a bedroom?
At $20 an hour, you still can't afford a studio, because studios here in Orange County are renting between $2,500 and $3,000 a month.
Oh, wow. Same as here, same in Boston.
Yeah. And $20 an hour is not going to cut it. So,
15 here in Massachusetts.
Yeah. I mean, so it's crazy. And actually right now, as we're recording this, it's, July of 2024, the affordability in Orange County is 11%, which means only 11% of the people can afford to buy the average priced home.
So now, what happens with the other 89%? Are they rent burden, or they just cannot afford to live there, like just live elsewhere?
If they want to own a house, they're going to go to other counties because they can't afford it here. It is absolutely crazy.
That is absolutely crazy. So, that, like talking about salary and minimum wage, I don't know if you have seen, but the National Institute for Low Income Housing just released a study, which every state minimum wage and how many hours you have to actually work to afford a studio or a one-bedroom apartment. And guess which state is number one? You.
Mine?
Yeah. And guess which state is number two?
Yours?
Yeah. I mean, I'm laughing, but I think this is a sad laugh.
Right.
It's nothing. Let me see if I can pull the numbers so you can look at that, because it's just absolutely ridiculous. People have to work like 3 jobs or so to be able to afford this, which is like impossible, So let me see if I can show the numbers. Hold on 1 second. I'm coming. They just take pages. Oh, it's all the way around. So the most expensive jurisdictions. This is the report. I'm just gonna share the screen for 1 second. Thank you for everybody for your patience. There you go. Look at this. Most expensive jurisdictions. The whole, with some exception in New York, is all California. Housing wage for a 2-bedroom apartment. In Santa Cruz County, almost $78 an hour. Marin County, San Francisco, 64. San Jose, 60. Santa Maria, Santa Barbara, 57. Salinas, 55. San Diego, almost $55 per hour to be able to afford a 2-bedroom apartment. So if you're a family, what do? You go to a studio? If the two of you make minimum wage? Like, it's insane. And then combine the second one after New York and after you guys, Massachusetts comes.
Yep.
It's right here, 44.
Right. And at the end of the day, I belong to this other group. It's called Sub 2. Pace Morby runs it. And he was talking about co-living. And he said, the way to make money today is give the people what they want, right?
Yeah.
So that's why co-living is so great, because you're giving people a affordable, nice home to live in. And you're making money at the same time. It's a win-win. It's fantastic.
Absolutely. What is your experience so far with co-living units? Have you been able to set up units, work on units, get investors to get units? Do you own any units? What's your experience with it?
No, I just got in with Pad Split as a vendor for them. And so I'm a real estate broker to help them open up the territory. And they don't have any contractors here yet. And since I am a GC, I'll probably in the beginning have to, help people. It'd be a full package, right? You come to me and either, just find me the house or help me set it up. I could do it all. And so I'm working with some investors right now. We're, looking at homes that fit, because obviously, you're not going to be in an A-class neighborhood because that's not going to work.
Mm.
You're not going to be in HOA. So if you're
No.
close to, like in central Orange County, there's Irvine, it's HOAs everywhere. No, it's not going to work because of the parking situation, right?
Correct.
So you're going to look at B and C class neighborhoods that make sense. And that's could be central Orange County. It could be Los Angeles. We're looking at San Diego. And I've been actually talking to some people in the service, like I'm close to Camp Pendleton. And, a lot of them, they come in for a year and they leave. Now they don't have really time to buy a house and sell it in that time frame. And if they're single, it's a perfect situation for pad split. So maybe, cities like Oceanside, which is just south of me, it would be a perfect situation. You could flip it to, there's in Seal Beach, there's also some military there, San Diego, and they get nice stipends.
San Diego is great. San Diego is great for Coliving.
Yeah, because there's so much military in San Diego. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of opportunities that I'm working with certain investors, as we're looking. And my plan is right now, I have a couple investors I'm working with who are going to JV with me. We're going to be doing the first pad splits probably in Southern California to get the ball rolling. And, so people can see it, drive it, okay, that's working.
Yeah.
So we're super excited right now. We're getting close on a few. We're just trying to, iron it out.
Well, that's amazing. That's amazing. And, and it's something that we can discuss too, and let me know your opinion is why do you think Passplit has not gone to California or to Massachusetts yet?
Well, actually, talking to the gentleman who's my contact at Pad Split Anywhere, we are number one on their list to come out to.
Okay.
Yeah. And they want to be here. They did a presentation up in Northern California. I've been begging them to come down to Southern California to do a presentation. And no, they do want to come. They're growing so fast. They're going into so many different areas. I know right now they're really concentrating on Colorado. But, kind of a wink, wink thing. The amount of income they're going to make here, because the rents are so much higher, they're going to make a lot more money. So they know this is a market they want to be in. And it fits because right now, like downtown Los Angeles, if I go to build a low-income apartment building, do you know how much parking is required?
No, how much parking is required?
0.
Oh, really? Is that so?
0. So, Los Angeles is saying that they need low-income housing. Well, this kind of fits the bill.
It does. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, so if you buy a house in Los Angeles, you may go in there and let's say it's a 4-bedroom with a 2-car garage. Well, you convert the garages to ADUs for living space, and you don't need the parking because parking is always an issue here in California. And so that's what's going on. I mean, it's really fantastic.
So I was trying to, when I asked you why they have not come there yet, is the same reason they have not come here, is that they choose, well, that's part of the other conversations I've been part of, is that they wanted to be first in landlord-friendly estates before going to tenant-friendly estates. Because many of the investors, especially when you grow a company, I get that, like when you grow a company, you want to show success. Many investors are afraid of evictions, right? Oh, what do? You want to evict one of these clients. And when they look at clients, they look at, workforce housing. Oh, they're very hard to evict, or they start already preparing for the worst, which is not necessarily the case, especially after COVID, everybody, economic boom, everybody has a job. So after all that wave happened, this is a new wave. And when you have co-living and a very affordable price, many things have gone wrong for a client in co-living in our states to necessarily to be evicted. So in your real estate experience so far, even if it's a room or even if it's regular rental. What would you say to those investors in California or in any tenant-friendly state about the risk of eviction in a co-living property?
Well, the thing for me is, again, I've been around for so long. I bought houses off the courthouse steps. I bought foreclosures. And also I worked with banks, when they took properties back.
Mm-hmm.
And so to me, when somebody doesn't want to leave, it's not, oh my gosh, this is going to be terrible. For me, it's a Tuesday. And it is.
Yes,
It's standard procedure because, and sometimes people are just in a bad spot, right? And it's not always I'm going to stick it to the man. It's like they have nowhere else to go. So my first thing is, okay, you're not paying me, and tell me what your situation is, as long as they're communicating.
yes,
And some people don't, but if they are, what can I do to help you get to your next destination? So sometimes it's a cash for keys, because I will joke with, the people I'm talking to saying, well, either I pay my attorney $500 for his Porsche bill this month, and nobody wants to do that, right? Or I can give you the same money to help you move. What's your choice? What do you think? Now, some
yeah,
people are like, "Oh my gosh, you're going to give me $500?" Yeah, and sometimes the conversation goes, they want 1,000 or whatever they need. And I've rented U-Haul trucks for people. I mean, I'll do whatever it takes to help them get to their next destination. Um, that's usually about 60 to 70%. And other people, they want to dig in, and I get it. They want to stay there as long as they can. So then I've got a phenomenal eviction attorney, and we start that process. And I said, look, I'm going to pay for his Porsche bill, and we're going to be in court, and that's just the way it goes. And your credit's going to be ruined. You're going to have a hard time renting anywhere else, and if that's the direction you want to go into, I understand. And again, it's all business. It's not personal.
it's not right.
Yeah. And it's business.
Yeah.
So, it's you do everything legal. And, but I always try to help people get to wherever they're going. And, what does it take? Do you need your car fixed up so you can move your stuff out? Okay, I get that. Let's try to figure that out. And so,
Mm,
and certain parts of Los Angeles, it is a lot more trickier than others. Certain cities. And so, as I help my clients buy properties, I'm going to, give them, okay, in this city, it's probably not the best, but let's go one city over, and it's going to be a little bit better. So.
okay. Yeah. No, great. Makes sense. Here, well, I have, as you know, I used to run one of the largest co-living in Boston before the pandemic, and we only had to do one eviction once in over 700 residents in 4 or 5 year span, and we sent a 30 days notice to vacate. He wanted to vacate. He didn't. He wanted to vacate, and I think we gave him like a half a month's rent to help him leave, which is in a room situation, in a co-living situation was what, like $1,200, so we give him $600 to leave, which is absolutely nothing. So I know that a lot of people are scared about that in states, especially because why? Especially because either the people that live there is a community, so you have roommates. When you have roommates, you want to have a good relationship with your roommates, and if you're in a bad spot, either they help you or they want to do anything to do with you, that you're causing them, also a headache in the house with the owner. So you have a little bit of social pressure component, where it's better for the resident to take the cash for keys and leave than bunker down in the rooms and make everybody in the apartment life a nightmare, which is like I would say 0.1% of the case. My experience once, and it was only cash for keys. In other friends that have units, it has been mostly conversations and like a one court. But here you need usually you send the letter of 14 days notice to vacate. For co-living, I believe it's 7 days notice to vacate. And then the process begins. But again, in room situation, because the rent is less, you as an owner or as an investor still have the resident, the income from everybody else in the apartment. So you are not like in a regular rental without any income for months and months and then paying legal fees, but using 60% or 70% of the rest of the unit for revenue. So to everybody say, oh, what is the risk? To me, in my opinion, and let me know what you think, Scott, is way less risky this way than with a regular apartment.
No, I totally agree because here in California, numbers work out as I have my own calculator that I built. Break even is usually 4 people.
Yeah.
And so if you have 6 or 7 bedroom house, having one person not paying, yeah, I mean, it's irritating, but it's not going to hurt you. Now, if you have a $1 million house and your tenants, they dug in, it's a family and all that, you get zero income, that's going to hurt.
Yeah.
And because you're writing those checks. And I think a lot of people learned during COVID when, that was a bad situation. The small investor got hurt. But here, you're dealing with workforce housing. Again, if one person doesn't pay, yeah, I mean, yeah, you want them out, but it's not going to hurt you.
Yeah, no, I agree. A lot of people are afraid of that, but to me, it's the less risky. It's just more fear mongering, if you will, like in your head, that could actually like, what the cases are. But again, case by case situation, and in our case, we didn't do workforce housing. We did more young people, students and young professionals. So it's like maybe different nowadays as well. So just to clarify that part. Do you have any questions for me or things that you want to give us a takeaway to the audience this afternoon?
Well, actually, I'm going to go back for a second what we were just talking about, the risk of this. I mean, because that's anything, there's a risk in real estate. And I'm going to go to the commercial real estate. Just think if you bought, let's say, like a Dunkin' Donuts, a triple net deal, sounds super safe, right? I mean, you're buying a Dunkin' Donuts. Well, if that Dunkin' Donuts franchisee goes under for whatever the reason, it could be him, his wife maybe leaves him. We don't know. What can you turn that Dunkin' Donuts into? Is it going to be another Dunkin' Donuts? Probably not, because maybe that location didn't work out. Can Taco Bell come in? Probably not, because you're going to have to do a lot of work on there. It doesn't make a lot of sense. And again, that's why, with this, the makes total sense because, you have one tenant and, it's not a big deal. And so you're, again, spreading the risk. But I'd be curious on how you calculate your rents in Boston. What's your magic secret?
That's a great question. So let's do that. So how do I calculate rents? There are many comps. So A is one based in location. So location has to be 10 minutes, 15 minutes walking to public transportation, mostly train stations. Unlike California, we have really good public transportation here in the Boston area, like buses and trains. So that's number one. 2, we do 4 bedrooms, 5 bedrooms in the majority of the multifamilies, 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 1 bathroom minimum, 5 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 1.5 bathroom also. So rents are calculated. So you do, what is the market rent of the unit? Correct. Let's say for argument's sake, this 4 bedroom, 2 bathroom is $3,800, just for sake. So, but once you put furniture and once you put utilities, you can do based on the area and how close it is to colleges, universities, employers. If it's going to be walking distance, it's going to be train distance. So the closer you walk, the higher the price. The less, and also if the room has a private bathroom, it's almost a studio price. And the further down, further to commute to anywhere, then the lower the price. But I never had a unit, under $1,000 in any of my portfolios. So that's one. So let's go back to the 4 bedroom. 4 bedroom, 3,800. Once you put let's say 15, 20 minutes to the train, Boston University, you name it, fully furnished, all kitchen stuff, with utilities. Let's say 1,300 per room, just to be like fresh. So that is from 3,800 to 5,200. That's the difference. So from 38 to 52 is 1,400 more per month. That at the end of the year is almost $17,000 more in your pocket. That is a 36% increase from the regular rent, monthly rent, to a co-living operation in a regular 4 bedroom apartment, 4 bedroom, 2 bathroom. What happens when you have what we call in Massachusetts triple deckers, which is a three-level apartment? So multiply that for 3 levels, and you have over 100% double your rent in one building. And how much you buy the building for? Let's say 1.5, something like that. It's no brainer, absolutely no brainer. So calculation is location, what are the cons, how far are you from the train, how far are you from employers, universities, centers of congregation, train stations. So the further you are, and we don't do parking here, it's all public transportation. So the further you are, even if you offer parking, the further, the less. The only variable there is when you have rooms with private bathroom. I have clients with rooms with private bathrooms for $1,700, $1,800 a month, which sounds like crazy, but that's, if you go drive 20 minutes outside Boston, that's the price of a studio.
Wow.
So yeah, it's all location. And of course, condition of the units. Here on, and also maybe in San Francisco, a lot of young professionals. So the more young professionals, grad students, because we have, Boston is a student town. So we have a lot of students in Coliving from all budgets in the world. It's a very diverse environment. So from people that have $700 to people that have $2,000. But $2,000 don't give you a studio in Massachusetts, more in Boston. So they get, I imagine for you also the sticker shock price when they move here is strong. So we have to, part of our job is to guide you to what is the ideal situation for you now, knowing that you cannot afford to live the way that you live in home. So yeah, it's a learning curve. But I have to also learn that for many of them is the access to opportunity. Many of them, with the money that they come from their countries or to start a new phase in their lives, say, yeah, I got an internship in this biotech, or I got this new job, or it's a 6-month training program. They will not be able to achieve those goals if they don't have affordable rent. So to me, again, and I'll say many times, to me, co-living is access to opportunity. So I'm very happy that the co-living movement is growing nationwide. It's more access to more opportunity for everybody.
Right. Now I'm going to share a secret that I've been starting to do is for the investors out there who you want to, joint venture with other, money people.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I've done. So now every time I go see my doctor, I always ask them, how do I approach somebody like you? Because I said, I know you're not on LinkedIn. I can send you a mailer. And he said, no, and I was talking to my dentist and he just bought the practice. He's a young guy. He's like 35.
Mm-hmm.
He's making good money. He's not getting rich yet, because he bought the practice and so on. And I said, here's what I want to share my vision with you. How do I get in front of people like you? And he said, well, tell me what your vision is. I said, look, okay, you're 35. You probably have 15 or 20 years to go until you retire. And he said, yes, because my previous dentist, he bought the practice from, and that gentleman, he was like 65 when he sold his practice. I said, so, I explained co-living and I said, let me tell you how I look at it for someone like you. In Southern California, from 2000 to 2023, our market went up 330%. And he was shocked it went up that much. Even, we had a recession in between and so on. And I said, let's knock that off. Let's knock 40% of that off. Let's just pretend in the next 20 years, it goes up 200%. And that's legitimate. You knock off 40%. So that's 10% a year. So if you bought 5 houses today,
Mm-hmm.
and convert them to co-living, so you're going to be positive cash flow. But in 20 years, they've gone up 200%. So that $1 million house now is a $3 million house. And let's just say you're ready to retire. You want out of California. You want to go somewhere else. You sell those. So now you have about $2 million. So you have about $10 million or maybe even $12 million net to you when you sell. And you've done a cost segregation, meaning that you've paid probably no income on your taxes because that house that you bought for $1 million, you're going to get $100,000, $150,000 off on your taxes for the next few years. What does that look like to you? And he looked at me and he said, I got to really look into this. This really makes a lot of sense. And so for you younger investors out there, when you meet people, young professionals like that, they're going to be in it for 10 to 15 years and then retire, this is the perfect vehicle for them.
Correct.
Yeah. And so it's an incredible opportunity to get in co-living. It's kind of, I want to say the Wild West right now, meaning it's all brand new, a
Yes.
lot of it. And yes, people have been doing it for a little while, but now with pad split, going from coast to coast, it's going to be the new norm. But if you get in now and help people get what they want, retirement money, it's a fantastic opportunity for you.
That was very smart. I love that ending is called. How can people get in touch with you?
A couple different ways. One is my Instagram account. It's my name, Scott Mednick Deals, is one way. And I'll even, and another great way, you can text me. I'll give you my phone number. Don't call because chances are I'll be on the phone, but text me and we'll set up a time. Area code 949-632-2600. And I'd be more than happy to have a conversation to kind of walk you through. Again, I'm looking for joint venture partners, and or if you want assistance in finding the right locations here in Southern California or Northern California, where I'm licensed also. I'll be more than happy to help. So thank you.
Honored to have you here, Scott, to be my first guest here in the Coliving Compass podcast. Yeah, thank you. Okay, my friends in California, please reach out to Scott if you are interested in getting your feet wet in co-living. Nice. Thank you, and I hope I'll see you soon. Thank
Sounds
you,
great,
everybody.
Clara.
Take care.
Thanks for having me as your first guest. I love it.
I love it. Thank you. Ciao. Bye.
Ciao.